Hi everyone, I'm Annabelle. Welcome to my channel where I'm going to be teaching you coding in Java, and maybe I'll be doing some other fun math things in the future. I'm 16 years old and I take coding in school and I love it, so I decided that I want to share my knowledge on coding. I'm a little new, so I don't know much about it, but we're going to learn together. So stay tuned for some fun coding. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be using BlueJ, the program. It's not what I usually use, but it's the only thing that my computer can handle, but it can't even handle it because it always gives me problems. So we're on BlueJ right now, and we're going to go to Project, New Project. We'll call this Java Drawing 1 because today we're going to be learning the drawing basics. So within each project you have to create a class, and we'll also just call that Java Drawing 1. Make sure Java is selected here and the class type is class. Okay, so now this yellow box will come up. You're going to double click on it. And so now it comes up like this with all this random code that I don't even know what it is. So I always select all of it and delete it. And I'm just gonna paste something that my teacher gave me in school. So I'm gonna leave that in the description below because nobody's gonna memorize that. It's too hard to memorize. So you can just copy and paste it and makes it easy to start your code quickly. So here are the imports for the program in order to draw and have a window come up. I'll show you later. And so here it says public class and then it says program name. So you have to select that there and put in the name, Java Drawing 1. And you have to do that everywhere it says program name. This is always what comes up. Let's try to ignore it. Yeah, it's not gonna let me. Okay, so usually this always comes up, so I always have to force quit. It's really annoying. Okay. Let's try to reopen it. So if this happens, I don't really know what else to do except for force quit. I'm sure there is a solution, but it's probably really complicated. So the best thing to do is just, let's try to reopen this. And usually whenever you quit BlueJ and go back on, it'll open up to your last project. So now what we just did didn't save, so we have to redo that. Java Drawing. And again here, Java Drawing. And so now up here it changes the name to what you want it to be. Let's make sure that's the only place we need it. No, see right here. Oh my god, so annoying. I don't know why it does this. If anybody knows, comment how to fix it because it happens every 5 seconds. Let's see what this is. Maybe that's. Okay. So now we have to do this again. Just change everything to Java Drawing. Let's see how far we could get without that thing popping up. Okay. So now here it says w.setTitle. So in these quotations, you can name your window whatever you want. So we could just call this Java and you could name it whatever you want, it's up to you. So these are all of the basic stuff to set up the window, and that just comes with the template, so it's not anything that you'll be coding with this video. So here's the method that you're most concerned about. It's called the paint method, and it uses a graphics variable g, and so see, you could, like, g is used here and here, because when you're drawing anything, it's g dot and then draw or fill. So I'll show you what I mean. Right here, you're setting a font, and so it's called font 1, and it says new font, and inside it says serif. That's just a font. You could do whatever you want. You could do like Times New Roman, or I don't really know. And then it says font dot bold, so that makes the font bold. And 50 is the size. So you set that font with g.setFont, and you set it to font 1, which is that. And since the font is already set, you could, if you do g.drawString, that means that you're typing something. So it says text here, so we could say hello, and that text will come up at 500, 740. So those are the x and y coordinates, and it works like this. So say where my cursor is right now, that would be 0, 0. And as you move to the right, the x coordinate increases, and as you move down, the y coordinate increases. So it's a little different than just a regular coordinate plane. So that's important to keep in mind. It never goes negative. It always starts at 0, 0 and just increases as you go to the right and down. So this would be at 500 to the right and 740 down. And the next thing you could do is you could draw shapes, which eventually leads to more complicated things, such as drawing characters or anything else that you're interested in. They're all drawn with shapes. So first, it's important to set a color. So you set it in a very similar way to setting a font. And Java knows the colors, so you don't have to, most colors, you don't have to introduce them. If you want to create a color, I'll teach you how to do that in a different video, because it's a little complicated. But for now, we'll just do g.setColor, and every detail is very important. So the G is lowercase, the S in set is lowercase, but the C in color is capitalized, so you have to make sure to keep that capital. And then you're going to open up parentheses, and we could set the color to red. So you just write red, close the parentheses, and after everything you tell the program to do, there has to be a semicolon. So you have g.setColor red with a semicolon at the end. So now we'll start, maybe this wants it to be all capitals. I don't really know how this, I don't know why this doesn't work. I've never done this on here. So I guess we won't set a color for now, but if you're using NetBeans, then that's how you do that. I've never done any of this on BlueJ, so I'm learning just as you guys are. So let's try to draw a rectangle. So it's g.drawRectangle. I honestly don't remember if it's draw rectangle or draw rect, but we'll see what it says. So you have the same thing, the parentheses and the semicolon, and inside the parentheses you first start with the starting coordinates, so that would be the top left corner of the rectangle. So we could just put this at 50, 50, and make sure a comma goes in between each number. And then the next two numbers would be the width and then the height. So we'll make the width 50, let's say, and then the height could be 100. So now you have your rectangle. Let me make sure. Okay, wait, it might be rect. Okay, so now you have the draw rectangle command. So I'm going to show you how to run the program to check that everything's working. So first you're going to press compile, and then if you're on a Mac, then you're going to hold down Control and then click on the yellow box. If you're on a PC, then you're going to right click on that. and you press the main, because that's where all the methods are called, and then you just press OK. It's loading. Okay. So then this will pop up, and it's called Java. Nothing. Oh, okay. So here the rectangle is drawn, and this is where the font was drawn, and it's kind of cut off because the y coordinate doesn't go that up to 740. That's where it starts, and it goes lower. But you have your rectangle here, and then the typing there. And if you want your rectangle to be colored in, then you would, instead of saying draw rect, you would change it to fill rect, so it would fill the rectangle. I'll show you what that looks like, and make sure to compile, as I said. Takes a second. So now you can see that the rectangle is filled in black. Okay. Next we'll do a circle, but this calls, on Java, it's called an oval. So we'll do fill also, because that's better to look at. Fill oval, and keep in mind in rectangle and oval, the R and the O are capitalized. And for this one, you kind of think, when you're writing the X and Y coordinates, you kind of think of it as a square going around the circle. So we could make it at 100, 100. And then, so that's where, if you were to draw a square tangent to all sides of the circle, the top left corner of that square would be at 100, 100. And now for the next two numbers, you're going to do the horizontal radius and then the vertical radius. So if we want to make this a circle, we would make them both equal to each other. So we could say 20, 20. And you have to finish the statement with parentheses and a semicolon. And let's check how that worked. Takes a second. So now you can see, I didn't realize how close I made the circle, but the circle is right there next to the rectangle. It's much smaller than it, but it's okay. And I have one more thing for today's video, and this one's a little more complicated than the first two. It's to make a polygon, so any amount of sides that you want. So for this one, you have to make two arrays. So I'll show you what an array is. It's kind of making groups of numbers into one. So you write int, and then brackets, and nothing in the brackets. And so we'll call this x, you could call it whatever you want to, equals, and then you're going to have two swirly brackets, and then a semicolon at the end. And inside the brackets, you're going to have all of the x coordinates for every vertex of the polygon. So I have written down on this paper a way to, like, x coordinates that work out in a polygon, so I'm just going to use that. So it has 400, 415, 430, 445, and 460. And so that will be all, those will be all of the x coordinates. And then you're going to make the same thing for y. And these are going to be all of the y coordinates for the polygon, and they're called parallel arrays because the first x coordinate in here will be at the first y coordinate in this one. So it'll be 460 for the first coordinates. The second one will be 415, 105. And then the third one will be 430, 105. The fourth will be 445, 110. And the fifth will be 460, 95. So now you have your two arrays with the coordinates for the sides of the polygon. So now we're going to draw the polygon, or fill it. And in here you're going to have x, y, because those are where you want array x and then array y to be your x and y coordinates. And then we're going to say 5 because, see, this has 5 different vertices, so that's going to be 5 sides of the polygon. So I'll show you how that works. So now there's the weird shape right there, because that's what we just made. And you have to be careful drawing it because it goes in order. So sometimes you could put the wrong x or y coordinates and it will kind of overlap with each other and make something that doesn't really look like a shape. So that's all for today. I hope you guys learned something, and I'll be back with more videos soon. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye!